Yes.
Morning, Ammar.
Good morning, Jalf. You're listening to Ammar and
Jalf.
live on our weekly radio show right here on Spice FM.
And each week we bring some views, news, and one or two clues from the business world.
Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian ethnic and wider communities.
We'll be talking shop quite literally, not just corner shops, so they start a business, have an existing business, or you just want to talk business, we can help.
We can help. We can help. And we've got an extra special, extraordinary show for you this morning. And it's a real pleasure to be welcoming Meenu Malhotra as our special guest this morning. He'll be joining us shortly, Jalf. I think it's you've heard the news, right?
Well, you did share that with me the other day, which I thought was just some incredible news for their family and also for the Asian community.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. In fact, I think Meenu might actually be waiting in the might be here. So I'll bring him on, and he can talk immediately a little bit about what it all means for our region, for England. He had an incredible event last Friday evening, which I had the pleasure of coming to. I think you're absolutely right to say that there are huge opportunities as a consequence. So let's see if this is indeed Meenuji joining us, and let's get the show on the road if that is the case. We did say 10:15. Beautiful.
Very good morning to you.
Good morning,
sir.
Am I audible?
You are, yes. Let me
Excellent.
rename you as well. So
thank you.
I will sort that out. So delighted to have you here. I appreciate that since last Friday, you've become even more popular than you ever were previously. And we're not the first to be having this type of conversation. In fact, there was some wonderful interviews done last Friday, but we're delighted to have you here on Spice FM. So let's kick off, if we can, with who you are, what do you do? I know we've already explained to our listeners, and then we're going to come on to this amazing appointment that is not just transformative for our region, but the whole of England. So just for our listeners and viewers, Meenuji, please kindly introduce yourself.
Firstly, thank you very much, Ammar, for having me on your show. Very good morning to you. And it's equally delightful to connect with you. I am Meenu Malhotra, represent the Malhotra Group PLC Newcastle. And it's been an absolute privilege. As you are aware, on last Friday, I have been appointed Honorary Consul by Government of India to be representing Newcastle in the Northeast region.
Well, actually, you are the first Honorary Consul for the whole of England, right?
That is correct. I am the first one in the history of independent India. It is for the very first time that the Government of India has made this appointment.
And it's a wonderful appointment. Congratulations, well done, well deserved. I have my long-term friend, Jalf, here as well, it looks as if he is sat in the library. Jalf?
Well, something on those lines, yes.
Hi, Jeff, very good morning. Yes, it's a
morning.
wonderful appointment. I feel honored and privileged, and it is a very important appointment, which puts on me a huge amount of responsibility to the community at large. So I'm delighted.
Meenu, for our listeners, are you able to explain to us what the role is and what we can expect and how the community is going to benefit from your role and how the region is going to benefit?
Well, I think the role entails multiple aspects in terms of how community as a whole can benefit, how Asian community can benefit, and I will just endeavor to explain to you a few elements of that on that front. So previously, the northeast of England, in my opinion, was somewhat not in the focus of Government of India, because we had a High Commission, which is some over 300 miles away from Newcastle. That is our Indian Embassy in London. And then we have Consul General's office in Birmingham, which is 220 miles away. So, in my opinion, having the first-hand experience, all of the population from this part of the world had to travel to these offices to get their, for instance, forms attested, to get their land deeds attested. Sometimes there is a need, the passport is needed in an emergency, they have to travel, and many, many other aspects which are to deal with having relatives back home or having properties back home which they needed to sell or acquire. People have to travel there. So that's one. Secondly, we northeast of England, Indian community is somewhat, I would say, is in fringe groups. For instance, we have a Hindu temple. We have then various communities. As you know, we are one country, Republic of India. There is what I hear is a Gujarati. There is Bengali community. There is Punjabi community. Then they say, oh, well, this community is from south of England, south of India, beg your pardon. And my remit would be to bring them under one ambit. So we have a collective representation and we are a force and we do everything collectively. And that, I think, is one of my first initiation that I'd like to meet the community leaders. There has to be oneness and a collective measure by which everybody derives benefit. They have one voice. And when you have one voice, one is counted as well. And that is something that I'm looking forward to be meeting these people and function with them collectively. And whatever the Consulate of India offices in Newcastle could do for them will always be there. Then the other aspect is we have quite a large number of student population in Newcastle. And previously, they did not have any place which is official where they can tap. There could be an emergency back home. There could be an emergency here. So the relatives needs to tap with their children. So that, I think, is something very wonderful for all the young people, those who come here to study. Similarly, we have a lot of people, those who are to deal with the immigration, they settle here. So again, they didn't know where to go. And I can go on and on and on. So my role would be to not only find the common synergies in trade route, but to have cultural links, promote tourism, people to people connect within the community and also with the broad range, connecting them with India. So why don't I pause here and hand it back to you? I can go on. There is whole lot of measures which needs to be undertaken.
Wonderful. And I think the fact that your priority, Minuji, is very much around community cohesion, pulling people together, is really wonderful to hear. Because you're absolutely right. Historically,
Yes,
communities have been disparate,
I was waiting.
have been divided,
Yeah.
is what they have. The other part is platforming, showcasing our Northeast. Your observation around the distance to travel to either the council in Birmingham or London is always a barrier. And having not only you here, but actually having a physical place where people can come to and visit. Talk a little bit more about the India House that's been established.
Yeah. The newly established offices at India House, as you are aware, is a landmark building on Shields Road. And this basically is a platform for people that they can personally visit on a need basis. They can connect with my staff and we can direct them to various needs and aspects they have. And I think the other benefit of this position is that we have not got any official celebration of our Republic Day or the Independence Day and the flag hoisting. Again, the aim and idea would be to have the civic authorities, the policing, the fire ambulances, the civic bodies, the politicians. So we have the flag hoisting officially done at the civic center. And
Yeah.
then you see people would want to celebrate further in the evening by way of, various dinners, by way of various celebrations should be done. And again, we have many festivals. For instance, one thing I've always envied, Ammar, in Liverpool, our community at Leicester celebrates Diwali beautifully.
Yeah.
They have a road
Right.
there. The name is
Yeah.
alluding where they have lights for a week, and the
Right.
whole community spirit is there. It is not just for the Asian community or Indian community. It's a festival of light, and it is very popular in all parts of the world. Whether we are in Middle East, whether we are in America, whether we are in England, whether we are in India, it is a festival which is celebrated. I've always envied, why can our community cannot do something like that in this town? For instance, we have Northumberland Street, we have Grey
Yeah.
Street, some of the
Yeah.
most beautiful streets in the country. And
Yeah.
my aim would be to encourage the civic leaders, the community, that we have the lights for I'm somebody who's behind celebrating Christmas, and for the last best part of 5 to 7 years, we promote Anik lights. So we'd like the Diwali lights to be erected in the Northumberland Street and the Grey Street, and there should be a fair, which you must have noticed, around the monument. People can have various experience of food, exchange of culture, and I think exchange of culture between the community is a very, very important aspect of life, which out of this stems everything. So people have a better understanding. Therefore, people are more tolerant. So one thing leads to another, it's all weaved in. And that is something else, I'd like to use my best endeavors, work hard. And I'm sure when the will is there, and again, Ammar, I'll need leaders like yourself from communities. And this office is not only about Indian community. Of course, we'll be looking after our diaspora, but it is having to make the bridge, because in England and in Northeast, we can be very proud. We have harmony amongst all communities, whether they are Bangladesh community, Pakistan community, or our communities, from India, various parts of India. And then the other aspect that I also want to promote is I would like to have an opportunity to meet with the Sikh leaders. We have half a dozen gurdwaras around Tyne and Wear, which I'd like to meet with the leaders and see how we can bring them on the same platform. And that is a very vibrant community. By the way, I come from Punjab, and my upbringing and majority of my friends during my school and college days have my dear friends have been from the villages, from the Sikh Punjabi families. They are they are very hardworking.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting echo. I'm getting I've started to get the echo back from your studio of my
Are
own
you?
voice. It's better now. Yeah, it's
Okay.
better now. So, they are very progressive community in our region, and most of them are my friends. And I'd like to get involved with that as well to see how best we can serve them, how best the consulate office can serve. And the main thing is, I think you will concur with me that we are quite a close-knit ethnic community from all walks of life. The idea is to strengthen it more. For instance, it'll be a great privilege if I can do anything for mosque, for church. Why not? The idea is to have the oneness in the whole community. And India, we have a saying that we believe that world is one. So we are all citizens of one world, and the idea is to be more vocal in the community, taking this message over of brotherhood, of peace and prosperity, is how I see it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Let me just delve into some of the points that you made there, which, as a business person, as Jalf, as a leading restaurateur, around policy, right? So, as I understand it, we'll be able to lobby through you some policy type changes, raise the profile of issues regarding, I mean, Jeff, you can explain the problems you've had with bringing experts. So that some of the world-class chefs are in India, right? And one of the most painful things over the last few years is the issue with sort of bringing world-class chefs because they're in desperate need here. I'm just getting into a little bit more detail, but I mean, Jeff, from your business perspective, and your perspective of having gone to India and explored the heritage and history and the authenticity of food, because not only are we one world, but one thing that we're incredibly great at doing is cooking, and we've had this skill forever, from the Indus Valley days to where we are now, and the varying levels of that. But Jeff, from a business perspective, and hearing Meenuji talk about community cohesion, bringing all of the South Asian communities together is a wonderful thing and a great opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. I think the fact that we may have someone that we could go and turn to and share our problems with at a level where they might be able to make impact would be very important. As you say, there's the immigration rules and laws have been so difficult over the years. When you really want to bring in talented specialists, there seems to be so many hurdles that you have to go through, and there doesn't seem to be sensibility when you want to go and speak to individuals, because they don't understand things from their grassroots level. So I think having a medium such as this will hopefully help businesses like ours to be able to share our concerns and things that may make our businesses easier, but ultimately that would make the economy, the local economies, a lot more fruitful if we're able to bring in skilled individuals. And I know there's a big issue referenced immigration, but my firm belief is if you're bringing in experts in the field in class to come and benefit your local economies, then that should be encouraged. And I think, I don't know if they're putting things under one category, but the word is from the grassroots that even the recent law changes is making things a lot more challenging to be able to bring in talented individuals that really want to come into the UK and could make that difference.
Yeah, and very briefly there, Jalf, we'll come back to Meenu, but it's not just about expert skills. Our economy here in the Northeast is incredibly dependent upon students, as Meenuji's already highlighted, right? They bring millions of pounds worth of spend, both into the universities and into the communities and into the economy, but also they then contribute more broadly to the cultural richness of our region. So I suppose it's not about an individual case, it's about a collective case, Meenuji, isn't it, making that through you?
Absolutely. I think there is multiple things that Jas has touched and you have. You see, community work for me is nothing new. I have for the last 3 decades, wherever and whenever I've had an opportunity to assist somebody in my own capacity, I have, this is something, I've done. And I think taking this office and the position which has been given to me makes the process more easier, and it gives me the platform to assist people more in an effective manner. So talking about the education institutions, the health services, the hospitals, we in Northeast of England are blessed to have some of the best universities in the country. Similarly, the hospital units we have are second to none in the country. And I have over the years attended many, many community meetings under Chatham House rules. And I have always posed one question to the business leaders, to the educationists, to the bosses of health services, that Northeast, if you look at the workforce, and I'm blessed to have 1,600 people in the Malhotra group, we are a family of 1,600 strong workforce. And if you look at the aptitude and the attitude of people in Newcastle and Northeast of England, it is wonderful. They just get on and do it. They're a hardworking community. But you see, the saddest part of our region is that we educate so many youngsters in the universities, and we sometimes train people in the health sector, and you touched upon the leisure sector, which is food and the restaurants. But hence, we are not able to retain the skill of our people, the personnel post their training and education in Northeast of England. That really, Ammar, needs to be looked by the business leaders, by the government officials, by the civic authorities. There has to be a policy changed. You touched upon it, and I think through my office, whatever that I can promote, whatever I can do, I think we need to get more vocal, that that we are able to retain more and more people that we train in Northeast of England is one. Secondly, what Jas touched upon, his immigration. Immigration has been a sensitive subject for the previous government. And I don't think there is a clarity or there is going to be a quick short-term resolution to it. And part of the problems that Jess has touched upon, all small SMEs and the large organization face, is that there is a lot of red tape if you want to bring a personnel from not just India, any personnel. There is a short supply, call it a restaurant trade, call it a care trade, call it, any business, especially in the leisure industries. People are struggling. They don't know who to turn to, where to go. And it's quite complicated at the minute, but give it time. It is my hope, wish and prayer that government gets handle to it. And whatever as community we could do to assist, we are always there. But currently, the policies of the Home Office are made stringent because as Britain being a small country, we cannot afford the influx and a large number of immigration, into this country. But at the same time, the fine balance is, very finely poised. At the same time, businesses are suffering, just like yourself and many, many others, that people, when they want to encourage or bring somebody, it is not easy at the minute. And it is a minefield, maybe not on this interview. One of these days, you come to my office, or we can, in whatever I can do to assist you based on my own first-hand experience, I'll be able to assist and guide you, or anybody else in the community.
Wonderful. No, thank you ever so much. You're right. It is a minefield. It is something, and the point to make is certainly I believe I'm speaking on behalf of all of us. When we talk about immigration, we're talking about controlled immigration. We're talking about
You had
needs-based
frozen there for a few
immigration.
seconds. I don't know what you said.
Okay.
Sorry, Ammar, screen was
No,
frozen
no,
for
no
a
problem.
few seconds. Yeah.
No problem. Minuji, it was simply that your point around immigration is a minefield. It is a very touchy subject, but all of us would agree when we talk about migration, we talk about controlled migration. We talked about, sort of needs-based migration that has helped our country grow, and each and every one of us feel this is our country that we've contributed to quite significantly. And actually, one of the things that you've kindly supported is our Inclusion by Default campaign, which coincidentally started earlier this year and superseded all of the challenges that were experienced over the last couple of months, and is addressing some of that. So some of the things that you've mentioned about celebrating Christmas, about celebrating the rich history and heritage of our region, the industrial elements of that. I don't think any of us would want to lose any of that, whilst celebrating the differing cultures and individuals. So let's just move on to Meenuji, just because I'm conscious of your time. Of course, we only had you for a short period. Let's discuss the potential to help India achieve its
Ammar, in case yeah. Sorry, the screen had frozen again. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a connection between you and us. I think is there's a bit of a lag there. But Meenuji, just briefly touch upon the potential for us to help India achieve its 7 trillion economy goal by 2030, right? So there's big opportunities here, isn't there?
I think opportunity is vast for northeast of England. And you touched upon our heritage in northeast of England, our past. You see, it would be elusive. Yes, it needs to be celebrated. We should be very proud of it. We are proud of it. But at the same time, one cannot be living in the past glory. It is high time we as a nation in England wake up and recognize the fact that wherever opportunity lends itself, we got to grasp it with both our hands. Now, coming to India, I think there are tremendous synergies in northeast of England and India, and no country, no region can ignore the fastest growing economy in the world. Now, we have some very natural synergies, and that is India is very keen on IT partnerships. They want semiconductor plants. India is investing a lot in the infrastructure in green energy. India is investing a lot in pharmaceuticals. And India is investing a lot in engineering. And all, I have touched these 4 industries because we are very strong for all of that. So country like India, we are quite a diverse society, and that actually is our strength back home. So I haven't got the recent statistics with me at the minute, but we are the second largest investors in terms of investment into England, Britain. So we are waiting for a long time. I don't know the reason. It's beyond me to understand. For the last 2.5 years, we have been talking about formalizing the trade treaty between India and England. So I think there should be a greater
Yes.
emphasis given by the dispensation of the current government. It should be formalized. And the Northeast, it lends huge opportunities for Northeast, because you see, India has got the numbers, India has got the population, and Indian companies are very keen to invest in England as well. It is not just a one-way traffic that we are investing there. They're very keen to invest. The brands which are household names internationally are suffering in our part of the world. And that is where I see the biggest opportunity. That if the brand is there, let's say, this is just a hypothetical example, we have an engineering brand, take ABC, and they haven't got the volume in Europe. And so, but India has the volume, but they don't have the brand. So there lies the natural synergy. India would invest because we believe in being self-sufficient, and our PM has raised a slogan of self-sufficient India. And yes, we wanted to be by 2030 a $7 trillion economy. Now, we currently are at 3 point something. I think we're halfway. I think we are at about 3.5 plus, 3.5 trillion plus. So imagine in 7 years, we are creating another India in India. So we are very keen as a nation. But for me, when I use the term, firstly, I was wearing the Indian hat. I am proud and privileged to be a British citizen. This has been my home for 45 years. I'm a very proud, well, I'm not quite Geordie, but a resident of Northeast of England. And this country has accorded me for 45 years a lot of pride and fulfillment in what I have done. And I am wearing both hats, equally keen where I can help this region, because it is my region, it's my home. And so it is a unique, a wonderful position and opportunity I have. Let's hope I'm able to do justice, and through your radio station, or are you radio? You're a FM, Spice FM is a radio. Through your medium, I would like to convey, not limited to any community, caste or creed, but to the whole Northeast, wherever they feel that I'm able to be a bridge between, connecting them with the government, connecting them with the organization, it'll be my absolute delight and privilege. So I think the opportunity is very, very big, and India also needs Northeast of England equally. It's not that, but I think we need India more, because in the globalized world, it is clearly to be seen as to there is a shift of position in the world standing, and we mustn't, in Northeast of England, miss our opportunity. And it is delightful. Honestly, I cannot thank Indian government enough. I had the opportunity to meet His Excellency, the High Commission, last year when he visited the Northeast of England. Ammar, you were part of that group, and you very kindly had organized a few meetings. And they recognized that they need to warm up their relationship here. As a result, has come my appointment. So you can see the serious intent, and you can see the willingness on part of India that they want Northeast of England to be inclusive in their growth. And and at the same time, it is an opportunity for us not to miss the boat.
Wonderful. We're on that boat with you, very much so. And an absolute pleasure, Minuji. I think we're firmly integrated into your endeavors, your ambition, and we'll do everything we can to help you realize that. Equally, as a Punjabi by heritage, so I am a very proud Geordie, having been born on the banks of the Tyne. But my parents are from Jalandhar, and Punjabi, and I love being a Punjabi as well. It's a beautiful language. So there's no doubt about the synergy that exists between Punjabiness, broader, wider India, the South Asian subcontinent, and the Northeast. Thank you for leading the way. We're looking forward to supporting you however we can, and helping us realize that ambition.
Well, thank you very much, Ammar, for having me on your show. And I would just make the final comment. You see, the idea from here on is, yes, we are various communities. Indeed, we are very proud Punjabis. But at the same time, we need to promote the language of love. Language of love, language of unity, language of community spirit is the mantra moving forward, how I see it. We got to overcome that, and thank you very much, and hopefully it is the first time and not the last. We'll surely connect, and be nice to see you in the office for a cup of tea. It's been some time. Thank you very much, Jas, and thank you very much, Ammar. You have a wonderful day. God bless. Bye for now. Thank you.
Thank you. All the best. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. There we have it.
Wow.
Meenu Malhotra, Consul General Honorary of India. It's great.
That was
Wasn't it, chap?
so insightful, wasn't it? I think what they're doing with this appointment, Ammar, obviously it's not to any indifference, I guess, to what we set out to do, although on a very, very small scale. But now for the Indian Council to then have the foresight to make this appointment in the Northeast, it's just formalized a lot of things that were done on a very small scale for many years.
It's wonderful, and it's great because actually having someone like Meenu in that position, it's not just about the impact that he's had or the connections, it's having the resources as well, right? As in being able to make stuff happen. And the things that we didn't touch upon, and we can come on to that at a future date, is Meenu's been doing quite a lot in India. So he's invested significantly in India. They're creating hundreds, thousands of jobs out there, and such like. And he has that relationships. He's had those relationships at government and grassroots level, and it's wonderful to see. And the benefit to us, ABC has been taking trade missions to India for over sort of 12 years now. I've been to India many a time. We've brought Indian businesses here. We've connected. We've supported all of the Indian students. We had an ABC society and all of that. And then when the ambassador came up last year, it was great to show him round the region, support Meenu and everyone else, and really bring everyone together. And he was blown away. He was blown away by that response, and was keen to then follow up and formalize that. And it was great because he'd reached out, he'd sent me a couple of emails, and connected, and sort of said, right, we're keen to do something more meaningful in the Northeast, and naturally we were keen to support Meenu in that opportunity. So it's great to see that come to fruition.
Yeah, of course. And I think, Ammar, another very important point when you have when you meet ministers and they seem to be put into a particular position, and then you look at their background and their history, and they don't really have the, let's say that the business secretary, they may not have come from a business background. They haven't been there, they haven't made things work, they haven't faced challenges or problems. So with the business background that the Malhotra family has and the enormous success that they've had, and that success has come from scratch. So they've gone through pillar to post, and they've probably built a particular resilience, and they've got into the position based on their business acumen, their intelligence. So they're in a position where they're going to be able to share a lot of that, and I think that makes a big difference. Individuals who haven't really had that experience or that upbringing.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. I think it's a wonderful observation. What else is going on? Well, talking about celebrations and things like that, Jalf. Are you in the library?
I had a meeting in Phoenix, and they've got this beautiful cafe in Phoenix where the sound and music system area used to be, up on the first floor. So I'm just not in this in this cafe that they've just literally completed a few days ago. And
okay.
created this really upmarket, aged looking cafe to fit into their space. So they've opened these windows, lovely bay iron cast windows that were covered for many, many years. So yeah, it's kind of quite a cool little space. Have a look at it. So this is in
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. It looks as if it's your own exclusive space, Jalf, as no one obviously knows anything about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I think it's great that we've managed to equally share some of Meenu's visions and ambitions and things like that. Coincidentally, next Thursday, we are taking the Entrepreneurs Forum around the Mandir, the mosque, and the Gurdwara. So we've got that going on next Thursday, and then there's a special curry club there as well. So we're, some of that activity is already happening. We've sort of done things with the Mandir, we've done things with the mosques, we've done things. The Gurdwara has kindly hosted a couple of curry clubs, and we've got a great relationship with the Gurdwara in particular. I mean, the community aspects of the Gurdwara where they serve langar every single day, Jalf. So the students, the Indian students, go to the Gurdwara to get fed, right? Because every single day there's langar going on, which is food offered to community, and actually it's a great activity that they do. So some wonderful stuff going on. I think it's really, really great, and it underpins our inclusion by default. And then obviously we have our ABC awards. This year they're getting bigger and better. All of the nominations are now, so nominations are closed now, and record-breaking nominations, Jalf. This year nominations have closed, and we've had a record number of entries. It's a clear sign of growing enthusiasm for celebrating inclusion and achievements in our community. The annual awards take place on the 17th of October, and it's set to be an incredible night. Tommy Sandu's there. Although the nominations are closed, there are still opportunities to get involved through ticket sales, table bookings, and sponsorship as well. In fact, I think the sponsorship's gone. There might be some inclusion by default packages if someone wants to promote their brand on everything and everywhere, is the thing. And inclusion by default, I suppose, just emphasizing a little bit about that. So you've heard me mention the Entrepreneurs Forum event last or on Thursday. Thank you, Colin. And a bit like buses, Jalf. So Elizabeth, who isn't here sadly, would normally bring me in a cup of hot water, and I'd sent messages over three mediums saying, "Can someone get me a cup of water?" And then I didn't just get one cup of water. I've actually now got two. So very grateful to the team and the staff for looking after me. As I drink my green tea. Jeff, football, what's going on, man?
Yeah, well, we have to be pragmatic and we have to look at where we are. We're fifth in the league. We haven't been playing well. We haven't signed anybody. I think, when things are against you, I think you come out fighting. So hopefully we've already got 3 matches out of the way. We've got another 16 matches to go until the next window where we will definitely sign 1 or 2 new players. Hopefully by then we have a much stronger squad than last year because of all the injuries that we have. So people are saying, "Oh, we haven't signed anybody, we're weaker." Yeah, we may be, but we're stronger because we have Sandro Tonali back, Joe Willock is back. I think the likes of Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall are much stronger. We have Lloyd Kelly, who is a much more of a efficient defender as opposed to Paul Dummett that we had. So I think the team is gelled over the last few years as opposed to teams like Chelsea who keep on buying brand new players and have to gel together. So I think we're gonna have a roaring season. We've got 3 winnable games.
A roaring season.
I think so. I think hopefully we just have to stay in the mix. And we've got the fixtures list has been really good as well, Ammar, because the next game is away to Wolverhampton Wanderers after the international break. Following that, we've got a midweek match against Wimbledon away, which has been a good kind of favourable draw in the Carabao Cup. After that, it's Fulham away, so we could win all of those games. We'll be right up there towards the top of the league. And then we got Man City at home at the end of the month. So hopefully.
What do you think about that game, Jeff?
The Man City? Well, Ammar, I think we've always done well against City, but they have beaten us. But I think we're getting closer to them. And last season, if you can recall, we were 2-0 up. And then they brought Kevin De Bruyne on and we got beat 3-2 in the last minute. But we did hold our own against them. And hopefully we might get one better this season. So
yeah.
I think
my son was a ball boy at that game.
Amazing game. Do you remember that game, Ammar, when Oscar Bob scored last in injury time to beat us 3-2?
Yeah. And they were all celebrating next to him as well. So he was like, and it was funny because I think one of them asked him to do something and he refused to do it or whatever it was. And anyway, it was like a bit funny. Anyway, I'm sponsoring that match. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So yeah, my son will be there again. I'm looking forward to it. Should be exciting game on that day. And football's obviously driving some activities from an economic perspective. I think it's good that they're commercializing things and bringing more jobs and investing. It does concern me a little bit about the Eddie Howe and broader relationships, whether that's just nonsense and tittle-tattle or not. There's clearly a bit of a different view and approach to how things were and how things are. I would hate to see Eddie Howe leave. Despite what other people say.
I don't think Eddie Howe's going to, because I mean, I don't know Eddie Howe personally, but I do know some of the, a lot of the coaching teams and JT. I think they're very, very set and settled and happy in Newcastle. I think they're very, very professional. They're very, very serious. Yes, there's some changes at the top level, but as long as they can get on with their work, as long as they can get a bit of support in the transfer window, and this one's been a poor one, but hey, these things happen, Ammar. There's, they lost a lot of key individuals. There was massive transition, and you can't just have all of these transitions and be able to perform at your best. So, but then I think Paul Mitchell he's got a lot of pedigree. He probably needs time to settle in, and once he's settled, he's going to deliver and get the players ultimately that Eddie Howe wants, and Eddie Howe's going to put in his team, and they're going to play the way that Eddie Howe wants. Because what's the point of you being a sporting director and not working, hand in hand with a manager who's going to be able to groom and develop these players? It wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. So I'm pretty sure Eddie will have a big say in the players that come on board. You got to also remember that his nephew Andy Howe is part of the recruitment team also, and he'll know Eddie and the way that he wants to play, and the kind of profile of players that he wants as well. So I think they're going to make it all work. They're all the professional guys, and of course they're going to have egos and their own needs that need to be satisfied. But I'm pretty sure they'll build a great working relationship, and hopefully the club is going to benefit, and ultimately the club benefits, the city benefits, and we want all of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, actually, that children go to school here. They're in a good school and whatever else and things like that. So anyway, yeah, football's amazing. What else is going on? Well, I've mentioned the Entrepreneurs Forum event. Well, actually, following on from that is the monthly AB Curry Club. I think there's no tickets left to that. It was limited spaces on next Thursday. And alongside that, there's a whole range of other things going on, not forgetting the significance of the Great North Run. Jalf, it's an incredibly busy weekend. It's hugely vibrant. Hopefully the weather will remain dry-ish. There's nothing like a bit of rain. I always have FOMO whenever I don't do it. I love doing it. It's probably one of the greatest events that takes place from a participation perspective. And my regiment, 101 Regiment, are actually supporting it. So you might see me at the end in my uniform at high-fiving if I can get across in time. The challenge is always transport, right? So if you're doing the Great North Run, stay safe, great effort. You should be incredibly proud. Jalf and I done it, and it broke Jalf, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. But it was a great experience, and yeah,
it was good fun. It's good fun.
It's a great achievement. Anyone that does get past that finishing line, and yeah, should be very, very proud.
They should. It's the junior Great North Run down on the quayside. Great event there too. Some real vibrancy, bringing all communities together. It's like anything in life. There's something for everyone. You just need to look for it. And there's far more many things that bring us together that divide us. So we'll be back next week with an extraordinary Friday the 13th special, which will be scary. We'll explain Friday the 13th, and we'll talk a lot more on world affairs and give you some top tips. If you'd like to feature on the radio show or on our special podcast video, then please do reach out. And if you haven't got your ticket for the ABC Awards, make sure you get it. It was sold out. We had a queue last year, and it's going to be even bigger and better this year. Until next week, it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
All the best. Take care. Farewell.